Hi, it's me again, and can somebody please tell me why? Why? They're always from the BBC. Ex-BBC journalist jailed for that offence and had stash of 6,000 indecent images. Ex-BBC, again, another one. What is going on at that corporation that keeps fostering this kind of behaviour? Former BBC journalist Duncan Bartlett has been jailed for 8 years for that crime. The ex-reporter who worked for the BBC in Tokyo and as a reporter on World Business Report on BBC News over a period of 14 years was found to have 6,000 indecent images of that. Now, obviously, I am not saying the BBC were complicit in this. I'm not saying the BBC knew anything about this. As far as we know, the BBC are just wrapped up. They were just his employer. They had no knowledge of this whatsoever. I understand that. And from a legal perspective, please don't sue me, BBC, because I'm not saying you had anything to do with this. The point I'm trying to make is, why do they always work for you, BBC? When was the last time you heard one of these scandals about Channel 5? All right. About Sky Sports? Yeah, all right. But it's not as many, is it? Do you know what I mean? You get these scandals. It's always the words or letters BBC in these scandals. And if you want headline scandals of this kind of offence, the BBC's where you go to find them. Why? Why are they attracted to the BBC, these people? What is going on inside there? Are they all mates? They all know each other from the dark web? I don't know. Is there one head offender in there that recruits others? Say, look, I do this. You could do this. I don't know. But something is very wrong if it keeps coming out of that corporation. Don't you think? Why is it always? It's always the BBC. Police also found that Bartlett had paid people in the Philippines to make live films of that. Isn't that where Gary Glitter went? Did he go? Was it the Philippines? He was out that way somewhere, wasn't it? I wonder if they knew each other. Unbelievable. At a hearing on August 30th, Bartlett pleaded guilty to 35 offences, and on Monday at Wood Green Crown Court, he was sentenced to 8 years in prison. How is that enough? I mean, they probably can't do him for the Filipino stuff, can they? If he was paying for it in this country, oh, mind you, he had it, so he can't be done for the paying and filming it, but he can be done for possessing it, I guess. 8 years. It does not seem enough time. Does it? According to the Metropolitan Police, Bartlett pleaded guilty to 11 counts of that, 9 counts of that, 10 counts of that. You understand why I can't say the words, right? I don't want to get demonetized. And 2 counts of encouraging the commission of either way offences. That's unbelievable. Unbelievable. After leaving the BBC all right, so fair dues, he hasn't worked at the BBC for a while. In 2015, he joined London's, whatever that is, university as a China researcher. According to the Telegraph, the university was not aware of his offending until December the 10th. No, probably won't. All right, he hasn't been at the B for nigh on a decade. Fair dues. But has he been doing this, only started this in 2015? Or has he been doing this for donkey's years, just wasn't caught? You know, because the internet 10 years ago and before was the Wild West. It was the absolute Wild West. We all remember how much music we all pirated. Imagine how much of that content would have been flying around the web back in the day when no one was getting tracked or caught for this sort of thing. It would have been out of control. Detective Constable Emily Dawson, who led the investigation, said, over a period of 7 years, Bartlett made multiple payments to people in the Philippines, asking that they arrange for that. With close liaison work with our counterparts in the Philippines, well played, we managed to identify and safeguard some of these children while several adults were arrested. Good. And if there's one jail, I mean, there's a few jails in the world I wouldn't want to go to. A Filipino one would be up there. I watch, was it World's Worst Prisons or World's Most Dangerous Prisons or something on Netflix? Have you seen it? Have you seen that? It used to be with the bald bloke from EastEnders, didn't it? But they sacked him off and got that bloke who was convicted for a murder. What's his bloody name? Hang on, that's going to drive me mad. It's not germane to this conversation, but it's going to drive me mad. Inside the World's Toughest Prisons, it was called, with Raphael Rowe. He was 12 years in the UK for murder, wasn't he? And then he got acquitted. He didn't do it. He wasted it. So now he goes to prisons around the world. And I believe he's done a Filipino one. And I also believe I wouldn't last very long in a Filipino prison. Maybe that would be an excellent punishment for Mr. Bartlett, Duncan Bartlett. Why not? Why not? Why could we not do that? Why could we not send this man to the Philippines to serve his sentence? I'll liven him up. Granted, we don't have holiday camps as prisons anymore. I believe that's a myth. I wouldn't want to do any time in any prison anywhere, including this country. But he did all this in the Philippines. Let's send him out there. Let's see how the inmates of a Filipino prison like to deal with that sort of person. Shall we? That would be... if he's only been sentenced to 8 years, 8 years in a Filipino prison, I'd go with, because he wouldn't be coming out, would he? Bartlett's behaviour was utterly abhorrent, but thanks to the painstaking work of detectives, a case documenting his offending was put together. This left him with no option but to admit his guilt. Yeah, I mean, we all bang on about the police. They are useless on minor crime. Absolutely useless. Bit of shoplifting or someone scrapes your car or a bit of criminal damage or whatever. They're pointless. No point even talking to the police anymore. But fair dues on this one. Right? They got him. He's banged up. But it says here, where was that bit? Yeah, where it said there, wasn't it? Detective Constable Emily Dawson, who led the investigation, said, over a period of 7 years. Okay. So that's probably after he worked at the BBC. I don't know. I'm not saying he'd done anything at the BBC. I'm definitely not saying the BBC knew or were complicit or hid anything. I 100% am not saying that. All I'm saying is it's yet another ex-employee of the BBC gone down for these offences. Yeah, many people choose to stop paying the TV licence fee for stories like this, and some of the worst stories as well. Not that this isn't bad enough, but he wasn't at the BBC necessarily when you know what I mean. If this is reason enough for you to finally decide you don't want to fund the BBC anymore, it's okay. You know, you don't have to pay them. If you don't watch or record anything that's been broadcast or access BBC iPlayer, you do not legally need to pay the licence fee. Don't watch anything that's been broadcast. Don't watch BBC iPlayer. Done. You can still watch the news. Just watch it. You can watch it on ITV or Sky News catch up. You can just stream it after the fact. Like News at 10 on ITV is on ITVX. Very shortly after it's broadcast, you can watch it then or watch it at your leisure. You won't miss anything apart from the odd BBC show. Everything else you can stream perfectly legally, even Sky stuff. Scrap your Sky off, switch to Now TV, which is cheaper, and watch your shows on demand. Sport as well. Sport's a tricky one. I mean, I'm a Formula One fan, and I end up having to watch the races after the fact, and yeah, it's suboptimal, isn't it? But if this has tipped you over the edge, there's down in the description below. There's a link to a video. This is the thumbnail for it. Give it a watch. It will tell you everything you need to know, what you can and can't watch, and what you can do if you don't pay the TV licence fee. Why not? Why not save the money? Why would you want to fund this organisation? Not that I had anything to do with this, necessarily. But this could tip you over the edge, couldn't it? Let me know your thoughts on this down in the comments below. As always, thank you for watching. While you're down there leaving your comment, hit the buttons, like, subscribe, all of that stuff. Because if you do all that, with any luck, I'll get to see you in another video again soon, won't I? Ta-da.